All righty. What's going on, y'all? Happy Thursday. It's great to see y'all.
Hey.
when I say it's great to see y'all, like it takes always a few minutes to get people here. So when I say see y'all, I mean Dan and Corey. So Dan and Corey.
Yeah. It's been a little while.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So Unicorn Finders, for those of you who are tuning in now or in the future, you're probably like, what is this thing with like unicorns and dudes? And I'll give you an overview. Basically, Dan, Jake and I, Jake is not here. He's flying back from California today. Dan, Jake, and I are good friends outside of work. And so when COVID hit in March of 2020, we were like, we need an excuse to hang out. And Corey, you can attest to this, like most dudes, we kind of need an excuse to hang out with each other, right? Like most guys, like we don't really like, I do have to say, I'm not saying this because Dan's on the podcast with me. I'm saying this because Dan is great at this. Dan is probably one of the few friends that like would actually just reach out to me just to hang out, to not have like plans. Like that's Dan. Dan's just that great.
That's essential. Yeah.
I'm terrible at that. Like I'm like, you got to have a purpose in my life. That sounds terrible, but I'm just being honest and open. And so this podcast has allowed Jake, Dan, and I to stay connected for the last 3 years. And so now what we do is we uncover companies and products doing really cool shit that you probably haven't heard of yet. So
love it.
On today, Elixir.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So Corey, why don't you give a quick background about yourself and Elixir, and then Dan can tee off the first question.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, Corey Wood, co-founder and CEO of Elixir Kombucha. For those that don't know, kombucha is a probiotic, delicious, if you make it right, fermented tea beverage with over 2,000 years of history. We launched Elixir in 2016 right here in Louisville, our hometown. Louisville and Kentucky broadly has its own rich history of fermentation. Most people are familiar with the products that I'm talking about. Kentucky bourbon is, world renowned. But so, we're doing our own special type of fermentation here in Louisville. The ingredients that make kombucha are super simple: water, tea, sugar, and a living culture called a SCOBY, which we can get into later. But producing consistent and delicious kombucha is anything but simple. So we've spent the last 7 years becoming an expert in the craft of kombucha fermentation, obsessing over gut health and fermentation in general, improving our product in the marketplace. So we're really excited to be here. You've caught us at an interesting time. We're in between two facilities because we're fundraising and we're expanding this summer, and got a lot of exciting things on the horizon. So yeah, stoked to be here, guys.
So how did you go about starting this company? Obviously, you were a fan of kombucha before, I presume. How did you go about to say, hey, we've been drinking kombucha. We like it. We like the flavor profile. We like the added additional health benefits. But where does it go from, I really enjoy this, to actually wanting to create a company around it, especially because if my understanding of your background is you weren't in the kombucha world beforehand.
Yeah, took kind of an interesting path to becoming a CPG founder. Our obsession, I say so Elixir is myself and my wife and co-founder, Danielle. She's chief product officer. All the recipes are from her brain. She's got a real gift and an incredibly, her palate is just incredible, and her sense of judgment on flavors I'm super lucky to have her as a co-founder. I'll say that. So that grapefruit kombucha that your girlfriend really likes, that is an award-winning flavor that she launched. We launched that one in 2018, and yeah, won an award last year, Kombucha Cup. But going back to your question, we became obsessed with gut health in 2013. Prior to that, we had careers in healthcare. We both went to University of Louisville together. I studied nursing. She studied exercise physiology. She went into personal training and biometric screening. So we have a deep passion for health and nutrition, and the science behind disease processes and optimizing and improving lifestyle and diet and nutrition to extend your health span. So that's our background, and that became an obsession with gut health in 2013 when my aunt, shout out to Aunt Chair, she is a hoop teacher and yoga instructor in Knoxville. Many people's intro to kombucha is kombucha's been around for over 2,000 years.
Kind of in that ecosystem, let's just say.
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Kind of
Yeah.
hippie. Yeah. I mean, I hate saying like hippy dippy, like, let's
Hey,
hold hands. And...
yeah, no judgment. And like
Yeah.
So my hippie aunt essentially, who was, brewing this stuff in her closet, gifted us with a kombucha culture back in 2013. We tried some of her home brew. I was instantly hooked. Danielle took a little while to come around to it, but she gifted us a culture. We started brewing it at home. And, we kind of had a vague understanding of probiotics at the time, but essentially we started home brewing. My cousin has some serious gut health issues. And so we basically gave him all of our home brew at the time. And even though it didn't taste great, it really helped his symptoms. So we knew that was kind of an aha moment for us. We knew that there was something interesting, in this product. And now, fast forward 10 years now, we launched the product in 2016. So we had 3 years of home brewing under our belts, didn't really consider it as a business until a business opportunity just kind of by good fortune fell into our laps in late 2015. So now here we are 10 years later. It's been a grind, and we can get into like the ups and downs of growing a beverage company in this industry. But we're really excited. The future is bright. We've got a lot of low hanging fruit and opportunity on the horizon for Elixir.
So it's so funny. Kevin comes in here and goes, "I brewed my own kombucha in my closet for years." There we go. pH strips are your friend. So let's that kind of goes into kind of the origin story. Like, talk about kind of the process. I know you choose Louisville water for a specific reason. Again, I'm going to say this. This is not a paid ad. They are not paying me. This is good. I do not like kombucha. I'm serious. I told Corey this. I said, I was going to try this live.
Oh, for the first time. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Ooh, and I was like, high stakes, man.
I was like, I can't, because what if I hate it? So I opened it up before the call, and now I love it. So I kind of wish I did it live, but it's really good, Corey. So let's talk about the pH strips and the OG story about just creating what you guys have done.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2013 started home brewing. Over the the next couple of years, we kind of honed in our craft, made some interesting flavor profiles, just kind of based on what was in the fridge. Because like I said, kombucha it's a simple process, simple ingredients: water, tea, sugar, and that living culture, which is a starter liquid, similar to like a sourdough starter or a vinegar starter. It's a liquid that you inoculate a batch of sweet tea with, and you can do this on your counter in your closet, like Kevin, and you put a cloth over top of it. You want to keep it semi-warm and out of direct sunlight. And after 7, 10, 14, depending on what your palate prefers, days or 3 weeks or more, you end up with a low calorie, probiotic, and organic acid rich product that's semi-sweet, semi-sour, and then you can flavor it however you like. So I mentioned earlier, we've got the grapefruit flavor. Taylor, you've got the blueberry pomegranate right there.
Good.
The blueberry pomegranate was our original flavor that we launched with in 2016. We've got grapefruit, hibiscus, and orange peel, pineapple, ginger, lavender, lemonade. And, so this summer we're actually, we've had to delay the release of it because of our capacity issues, but we have a summer seasonal called Watermelon Crush. It's watermelon, hibiscus, and lime. Yeah, I'll send you guys some when we finally have some cans in stock. I'll send you some. It's a simple. Yeah,
you know what we need to do? We need an affiliate link. We need like a Unicorn Finders affiliate code, discount code, and so we can just so I can just start because I'm just on lives all day at least.
Yeah.
We can just start.
I love it.
Choice.
There you go. All right, now let's make it official. It wasn't a paid ad before, but we can do it.
Yeah, let's make it a paid ad.
Look who it is, Brandon Arve. Shout out Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
So I do want to read this real quick, Corey. So I make individuals fill out this questionnaire, and it said, what makes your company a unicorn? You talked about Kentucky limestone, and then you said we'd rather leave money on the table than sacrifice what makes Elixir so special, and our fans can't get enough. Elixir sales velocities are 7x the national average, all without marketing and trade spend. Talk about your growth, man. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned Kentucky limestone filtered water. We think that that's our competitive advantage. Kentucky water has been said, that it makes corn grow taller, bourbon taste better, and horses run faster. So,
That's a great
and
statement.
it's the essential, the base ingredient of our product is the water. And so, we're really lucky to be in the place that we are. And on top of that, the Louisville Water Company it's world renowned for a reason. The water that comes right out of the taps is just delicious and perfectly balanced. So it plays an essential role in the process of how we make our product. And yeah, so when we hit these capacity issues, which 2022, we switched to cans, we're able to ship nationwide. That kind of became an inflection point for us. Whole Foods reached out to us last summer and shared with us some sales data that just kind of blew us away because we have stayed so product focused since the beginning, just like trying to hone in the best tasting kombucha that we can, that the sales and marketing we knew would come at some point, but we've had this since we switched to cans, we've had this market demand that exceeds our ability to fulfill. And so yeah, the Whole Foods local forager is what they call him, but he's a regional kombucha buyer, essentially, kind of keeping an eye on how all the kombucha is moving across the region. He visited our facility and shared with us that Elixir is selling by SKU the number 1, 2, and 3 best-selling local-based kombucha in the entire Whole Foods Midwest. And our jaws, hit the table. Like, we had, like I said, have been just so focused on making a dope product, and word of mouth marketing has become the biggest way that Elixir has kind of that the brand awareness has spread. And so if the product tastes good, beverage is king in CPG, or I'm sorry, taste is king in CPG. So that's really what brings consumers back to the shelf, is if the stuff tastes good, and they connect with the brand. That's part of it too. But yeah, so we've been like really floored by how well our product is selling out in the market without really much of any advertising or trade spend at all. So we've kind of leveraged that opportunity to approach some distributors. So now we've onboarded with 2 national distributors, and we're fundraising for our expansion this summer. And we can get into kind of how we're going to approach expansion later on. It's going to be a little bit unconventional because we've seen a lot of companies raise a ton of money and try and go to all doors at once. And if they don't have the sales velocities, then that's just, unless you have a ton of capital behind you that you can, outspend your competitors, then that's not a winning formula. So we're really heavily focused on velocities, and yeah, so our sales velocities right now in Whole Foods are 21, which might not mean anything to anybody, but
it doesn't.
Okay. So let's get granular. So 21 is the units per SKU per store per week. So that blueberry pomegranate can that you've got there is in a slot, right, at Whole Foods, and how many units we're selling out of that slot per week per store is a metric that that brands and retail buyers use to judge the performance of a product. So
is that above average?
National average is 3. Sorry, national average is 3. We're moving 21. So
can you break that down for me? So if you
Dan's the math guy.
No, if you have the blueberry pomegranate in one row, you're selling out of that row 21 times a week.
So we're moving 21 individual cans out of that row per store per week, and we're doing the same. We're doing the same, like on average. So it's not exactly 21 for every SKU, but on average, we're moving, per flavor, we're moving 21 individual units off of that shelf per store per week, which,
incredible.
Is, if the national average is 3, like I said, we were surprised to hear that.
Wait a minute, this isn't us. You got somebody else mixed up.
Yeah, exactly. So we're able to basically now take that data and go into other Whole Foods and say, hey, here's how we're performing. Can you make a spot for us on the shelf? Because this product is going to move.
I'm fascinated. We might take up another 2 hours of conversation
Yeah,
here.
I know. D2C is a lot of fun.
Because there's so much to it, right? But I want to go back. I know you created obviously a great product. You were home brewing this stuff at home. You've not done seemingly any real marketing other than word of mouth stuff. But how did you get from I'm brewing this stuff in my closet or wherever to getting it into Whole Foods? Because that's not easy, right? There's steps in between. How did you guys go about building an actual business to a point where not only is a buyer from Whole Foods interested, but now I've got to work with creating or manufacturing, distribution, making sure that we have a consistent product that's available so it's not getting sold out, so we can still keep pushing products and they're not bottlenecks. How did you guys figure that piece out from a nursing and exercise science background?
To tell you it's a work in progress would be understating it. We're still figuring it out. If you were to take a peek behind the hood right now, because we're in between facilities, we've beyond maxed out our ability for capacity in our current space, which is a shared kitchen incubator in West Louisville. We've been there for over 7 years now. Wow. And when we hit our inflection point last year and hit that capacity, we reached out to banks, to try and fund an expansion. Those, a lot of flowery promises, but ultimately kind of led to dead ends. They wanted us to put assets that we didn't, put assets up as collateral that we really don't have because we put everything into the company. And so we reached a dead end as far as that goes. So we then pivoted to raising on a safe note and exchanging future equity for capital, and some strategic partners have come alongside with that too. There's now a crowdfunding piece which we can maybe talk about a little bit later. For sure. But yeah, we're raising through WeFunder right now, and the campaign is still open. So, but yeah, so as far as building it and being able to keep up with the manufacturing, the distribution, the sales and marketing pieces. We're a small team. We wear many hats, and we're still kind of putting all those things together and really just, I've heard this expression before, so this is not, to me, but, we're building the plane as it's flying essentially. So for better or worse, that's how we're going about it right now. Yeah, if you were to take a peek behind the hood, you would see that currently with our current customer base,
Spirit Airlines.
Hey, I know. Seriously, sometimes it feels like that. We're 3 weeks behind on our current customers because our current customers are drinking more of the product, which is it's a great problem to have.
7 times more.
Yeah, right. So it's a great problem to have, but we have had to say, sorry, please bear with us, a lot recently. But the good news is we're at the tail end of our fundraise. Equipment is in the new space. It's getting set up. I'm actually, after this interview, I'm going to be putting on the clothes that I don't care to get dirty, and I'll be in the basement of our new space hanging piping for our packaging tanks. It is what it is, man. But, yeah, well, luckily I've got a great team. So my wife is, she's head of product. Patrick, he is what he calls himself a recovering engineer. And he was a mechanical engineer, spent 12 years in that industry, and just he's a generalist at heart. So the specialization that it took to do what he did, didn't really bring him much fulfillment. So he jumped out of that industry and into the startup world, and we've been buddies for a long time. So he's now working with us, and he's got an engineer's brain, but he's also got a generalist kind of personality. So he's really figuring out a lot of the logistics of getting a lot of this equipment hooked up, and I'm just the grunt worker. I climb up on the ladder and crimp the clamps for him, but he's the one that's got all the designs figured out. So and then we've got Lisa in production as well. She's the only reason that when orders get delivered on time, they do is because of her. So I've got a great team around me. I really, we couldn't do it without our incredible employees. So yeah, this summer is going to be wild, guys. I mean, Things have never been busier, but we're really energized by it.
We're gonna watermelon crush this summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey.
So, Corey, I want to ask. I am notoriously not a kombucha fan. I have tried. I tried yours. It's just not my flavor profile, and that's okay, right? The same way I'm not a big tequila drinker, right? I
Me
would rather
neither.
drink
I'm not
kombucha than
either.
tequila.
I'm not either. My wife is.
But I do understand why somebody would love your product, right? And like we were talking about earlier, my girlfriend's a huge kombucha fan, and this is one of her favorites. I want to ask about the industry, though. It seems pretty segmented. It seems pretty regional too. Am I correct in that? In that there's not one huge. There's no Coke or Pepsi of kombucha, right?
Well,
I know Mother Kombucha is like big here in Florida, but I don't know.
Yeah,
the market.
Yeah, Mother Kombucha is doing great stuff. Yeah, Mother Kombucha is doing great stuff in Florida. Taylor, you've got Walker Brothers in your backyard. They're in Nashville.
Actually,
they're awesome.
My wife's got some Walker Brothers in the refrigerator, so I guess my wife does drink kombucha.
Yeah, Luke and his team, they're making some great stuff. They're in the hard kombucha space as well. But yeah, you've got a lot of these like local and starting to like grow into regional kind of brands like the ones we just mentioned. And then there's not a whole lot between that and these like top tier brands. We're talking like, GT's Kombucha, which has roughly 60% market share. You guys have seen their bottles. They say Synergy Kombucha on them. So yeah, they've got 60% market share. They are the top dogs in the industry, and they're a big inspiration to us. Like they were the first commercial kombucha brand that we kind of fell in love with was GT's. Their Mystic Mango flavor was like the first commercial kombucha I ever actually, enjoyed. And now, we do have some of these top tier brands. You got GT's and Health Aid Kombucha. Brew Doctor is another. Kavita Kombucha, which got purchased by Pepsi in 2016. Those are all out on the West Coast. And yeah, so now you have these multinational corporations that are kind of taking note of what's happening in kombucha and are starting to get involved, for better or worse. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of those like mid-sized brands. It's either like generally like kind of locally and / regionally focused, and then the big national brands. But there's a lot of opportunity, and especially in the Midwest, for a brand to kind of become that kind of dominant leading regional type brand. And we plan for it to be Elixir.
I love that. And that's where I was kind of going. I didn't know that you said it was GT. Is that what it was?
GT's. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. GT's. So I notably don't spend a ton of time in the kombucha aisle, but I think I know who you're talking about. But does that make, without, obviously they're a big, big brand, but let's just say for the most part, it's pretty regionally based. Does that make growing easier? Does it make it harder? What is it like to grow in that space when you're competing against a lot of companies that are probably not super well known? A lot of companies, especially over the last, I'll say, decade or so, fighting in what seems to be a rapidly growing space, but still a space not a lot of people talk about. What does it look like for you guys in your go-to-market and trying to fight for that unknown component? Is it flavor profile? Is it can design? Is it product placement? What are those things that you look for as you guys are growing?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And we certainly don't have it all figured out, but I'll do my best to answer. So like I said before, in beverage, taste is king. So once we can get the early trial, that consumer to give us a shot for the first time, which, to be honest with you, we're kind of at a loss for why people might choose Elixir over some of these other top tier brands, because from a price standpoint, we are a premium product.
Right.
We're priced higher on the shelf. Yeah. Our flavors are interesting and pretty approachable, and our branding is clean and you can understand it. And, kudos to the guy that designed our can, Brian Todd. He's local right here in Louisville. So he's made our can look great on the shelf. So it does draw the eye. Our flavor profiles are interesting, but really the aha moment for our consumers are when they crack that can open and they taste how delicious and approachable the kombucha actually is. So we say that's kind of our core competency is because of our hyper obsession with the product itself. It's that consumer experience is key, and that's what's keeping our customers coming back to the shelf for Elixir and spending maybe an extra 60 cents to $1 even sometimes just to choose Elixir over some of these larger brands that have economies of scale and big multinational conglomerates and the resources behind them. But really, like, for instance, if you were to do a blind taste test with Elixir and some other products out there, some of which the big brands, some of the big brands, there's a difference in the manufacturing process that actually translates to a difference in flavor profile. So, if you were to try a bottle of Kavita kombucha, and we don't throw shade at many brands, but Pepsi bought Kavita, so it feels okay to punch up every once in a while. If you were to do a side by side with to try a bottle of Kavita and a can of Elixir, because of the way that we manufacture our products are so different. Kavita makes a pasteurized from concentrate kombucha, which you guys might not care what that all means, but it's a very fast and shelf stable way of making a product, and they dose it with a proprietary probiotic during the bottling process. Whereas we take a traditionally fermented raw unpasteurized route, which takes time, and the fermentation process takes you can't rush it. You just like Kentucky bourbon, you can't speed up the process. It's worth the wait. And if you put those side by side and did a blind taste test, you would know which one is the traditionally fermented product and which one is the raw, which one is the kombucha from concentrate pasteurized product. It translates in the flavor profile, and I think the raw and pasteurized product is a product that consumers prefer to the other stuff that's more processed. And Kavita, word on the street is that they're experiencing this problem. They got purchased by Pepsi. They were able to plug into their distribution network. Exponential growth happened. The hockey stick that everybody likes to see, getting all the distribution points that Pepsi could leverage. But then when it came time to get repeat customers and getting people to come back and reach for that bottle again and again, the customers weren't there. So we're hearing that they're experiencing some slippage in the marketplace. And I think it's a testament to how these products are made. Like I said, the traditional route, this ancient craft that has 2,000 years of history of kombucha fermentation. It is preserving that is like our ultimate core value at our company. And I think it translates to the taste. And consumers love it.
Yeah, obviously.
So I want to be respectful for everybody's time. We're already at the end of 30. I knew this would happen. Corey,
man.
Super stoked. Real quick, Emmett comes in. What's your favorite? Corey, what's your favorite flavor? We didn't even ask you this backstage. Do you have a favorite?
So I think right now, of all of our current flavors that are out in the market, I think grapefruit is probably my favorite. It's summertime. We've been making palomas with the grapefruit kombucha. There's a non-alcoholic tequila that's made here in Kentucky called Naked Lady, and we've been using that product a lot with our grapefruit kombucha. So a little bit of lime juice and agave, Naked Lady tequila, and grapefruit kombucha with line the glass with salt or tahini. It's an incredible beverage. So we've been making a lot of those recently. So I think grapefruit is probably the one, but next month we're going to be releasing our watermelon crush, and if you ask me in a month, it'll probably be watermelon.
Last question, because I do want to leave it up. I do want you to do a little promotion here. So obviously, if I go to your website, elixirkombucha.com. Talk about head over to WeFunder to join our community of 100 investors. Can you talk about that? How can people invest? Just kind of break that down real quick, and we'll end it here.
Yeah, all right, sounds great. So yeah, we're at the tail end of our fundraise. We have raised some funds from some traditional institutions. We have a key lead angel investor that is really well known here in Louisville and Kentucky abroad, Gil Holland. He's done some incredible stuff, community developing and on the East Market District, which is now affectionately called New Lou. He was a key driver of that, the revitalization of that area. He's doing the same thing in Portland and West Louisville now, which is where we're setting up our next manufacturing facility. So yeah, we have some institutional backing, some angel investor backing, and now there's this crowdfunding piece where we have, our friends, our family, our customers, former colleagues, nurses that I used to work with at Jewish Hospital in downtown Louisville are now investing in Elixir because, I used to bring them bottles of our homebrew for them to try and give me flavor, give me taste testing notes. And now they are, official partners in Elixir Kombucha. So, and anyone is welcome to join. It's for as little as $100. You can own a piece of Elixir cool. Just by going to our website, clicking the invest tab, and it'll shoot you over to the WeFunder. And really, the whole campaign is there. We've got a nice video at the top that kind of explains the opportunity, and all of our financials are on there. So, we had to get over the odd feeling of being completely transparent and opening our books. It's all on there. You guys can go in and see how much we've done in revenue, what our gross margins are, and what the opportunities are that we're facing here in the next 6 months to a couple of years. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit for Elixir out there. Our wait list has never been longer. We have some exciting strategic partnerships that we're going to be launching, some co-branded kombuchas with some
unicorn
interesting,
finders.
fast-growing. Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Yeah.
I feel like a lavender. I'm trying to think of our colors, like a lavender or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Hit me up. Yeah, hit me up. Let's do this. We literally intentionally bought a small packaging tank for the new facility so that we could do, one-off experimentals, do, kind of take some risks, and make some, some things that aren't on the market yet that, may or may not work, but, we're tinkerers, we're curious at heart. And so we're excited to get into this new space and really kind of spread our wings and see what we're truly made of. And anybody's welcome to join. The WeFunder stays live until the end of July. So come on board.
I love it. Well, y'all, thank you again for hanging out with us today. Corey, stay on real quick so we can say bye to you backstage. But y'all, thank you again. Check out Elixir Kombucha. And we'll work on an affiliate link and throw that up there for maybe a little bit off your price. So go invest, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Corey.